outer reaches of Scotland is good. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube to those watching on catch up. Great to be back with you. And I was just saying to our friends here on Instagram that we have got a terrific live plan today, all about the benefits of seaweed. And you may have heard me talk in the past about the amazing skincare line that's called Ishga, which is all handmade up here in the Outer Hebrides. If you saw my Instagram stories yesterday, you'll see that when I arrived, I went straight into their little factory setup, and it's amazing. I was actually blown away by it. So if you haven't yet seen it, do go and have a look at my stories, because the thing with stories on Instagram is they only stay up for 24 hours and then they're gone. So you have to really just keep checking, because I post often in real time, so you can actually see kind of what I'm doing at the moment. And in fact, this morning, Malcolm and I were out and about on the beach harvesting different types of fresh seaweed, which all go into the ishga skincare and hair care and body care. It's absolutely fascinating. So I can't wait to be talking to you about it. So if you've got seaweedy questions, I was just saying to Instagram, please pop them on Facebook. Now, as you know, we can do links on Facebook, and I think it's Betty. Is it Betty or Amy today on Facebook? Hi. Nice to see you. Rachel is on holiday. Yeah, so there you go. She is not on Facebook today, but I've got somebody else in my Digi team who are manning Facebook for me. And then on Instagram, because we can't do direct links, we try and put as much as we can in the little link that's in the bio, or you can always obviously go to lizearlewellbeing.com, and there'll be loads of Liz Loves discounts. So these are the affiliate discount codes. They tend to be Liz Loves, all one word, all in capitals, and we do have one on ishga skincare. So that is fantastic. That's 15% off everything over at ishga.com, and ishga comes from the Gaelic name for water, and you will hear all about that from Malcolm in a moment. But before we start with skincare and seaweed, I thought I'd just tell you a few of the things that I've brought with me, because I've actually been travelling around a bit in the Scotland, and I have to say, here today up in the Outer Hebrides, I'm on the Isle of Lewis. I think it's the furthest north I've ever been in the British Isles. I have been to the Arctic Circle. That was a long time ago with my son Guy. He wanted to go and see the Northern Lights, so we did a kind of mother and son trip just for a few days. So that was, I think, technically a bit further north, but this is the furthest time I've actually come to the British Isles, and it is so beautiful. Thank you for all your messages and comments and suggestions about what to do and go and see. We had a trip this morning to an amazing set of stones called, is it the Kaylee Stones? And they've been there for about 3,500 years, really extraordinary. And I was really intrigued to see them because, as you might know, my main home is in the West Country in the UK, in England. And we are quite near Stonehenge, so I've grown up knowing all about stone circles and Stonehenge, and then there's the Avebury Ring and Glastonbury and all these extraordinary kind of, I mean, it's supposed to be junction points for ley lines and all sorts of energetic frequencies coming from the earth. And, you know, I think even now people don't know, do they, why the stones were put there, who built them, what they were for. Was it to do with astronomy? Was it a religious ceremony? You know, what was it? And seeing these stones, do have a look at my Instagram if you haven't already. It's over on Liz Earle Me. It's just extraordinary. And they reckon that they carted these stones from right the other side of the island and placed them in this special circle, this special way. Absolutely extraordinary. Hi Justine, very nice to see you. Lots of messages already coming in for ishga. Hinchfan30 says, I absolutely adore ishga products. I have the serum and the face cream. Any recommendations for dark circles under the eyes, please? Well, do you know, I tried just this morning for the first time the ishga Rejuvenating Eye Balm. I really, really like it. So it's a very easy, very well absorbed cream. And actually I'm doing one of my favourite tricks here, which is to use eye cream not only patted under the eyes like this, but also on the backs of your hands. Eye cream is just, I don't know, it's something about it. It's a really good texture that fits on the back of the hands really well. Anyway, I digress. We are going to get into seaweed and the skin in just a moment, but just to tell you what I've been travelling with, some of the things that I've talked about here on the Liz Earle Wellbeing Live. So this Anybody tried this? Yes, this is the Gabriella Peacock Feel Great Fibre. You just add a spoonful of that into water or a drink and it swells up. It's this cognac fibre and it gives you the feeling of fuller for longer, and it has lots of prebiotic fibre, so it's very good to feed your good gut bugs. So this was a great live actually that I did with the CEO of Gabriella Peacock, and she is, let me just have a look at her nutrition site, because there's lots of information on that if you want to. You know, if you're thinking about shaping up for summer, maybe dropping a few pounds and want to find some easy ways to do that, it's a nice little hack that you can fill yourself up with this special fibre. So Gabriella Peacock, she is GP Nutrition, okay, if you want to check it out, gpnutrition.com. And there is a Liz Loves on that. That gets you 15% off that. And then the other thing, which I have been munching my way through up here, did you see my live last week with the founder? She was all the way live from California, Nomo Sue, and we were talking about no sugar chocolate. Seriously, I mean, well, you can tell. This is the dark chocolate with hazelnut. There is only a very small amount left. And I had to stop myself from eating that, frankly, because it is so delicious. And they do all these different ones. That's dark chocolate with sea salt. That's also super good. This is all I've got left of the milk chocolate. And it has no sugar, so hence no mo Sue, no more sugar. And it's sweetened with stevia. But unlike most stevia extracts, which I do quite like, you know, stevia is a naturally sweet herb, and it's something like 30 times or 300 times sweeter than sugar, so you need a tiny little bit of the leaf. But it can taste a little bit bitter, it can have a little bit of a bitter aftertaste. Well, what the founders of Nomo Sue were able to do was they were able to use a water-extracted stevia, so it doesn't have that bitter aftertaste. It has no sugar. And in fact, you can look, let me have a look here, I've got another real favourite. Lots of polyphenols in the dark chocolate. This is the 80% dark chocolate. Really, really good. And if you look at the carbohydrate content and the sugar content, it's less in carbs, less than 0.5 grams, which is just extraordinary. I mean, most sugar content in chocolate is like 50, 60 maybe. So anyway, I do highly recommend it. I've had to stop myself from eating all of that. And what I liked about the live when we were talking about it was it also contains things like prebiotic fibre, and the polyphenols coming from the dark cocoa. So it's positively good for you. Not only is it not bad for you, but it actually positively does good stuff. So Nomo Sue, let me know if you've had yours yet. You get 10% off with Liz Loves, and that's at nomosue.com. So, yeah, Jane is saying, love Avebury, there's something magical here. I think being up in the Outer Hebrides, there's actually something quite magical about the whole thing, actually. Yes, I'm sure that if you're allergic to fish and seafood, you can still use these products, but I will get confirmation from Malcolm. Lots of chat about psoriasis. Excellent. So Ishka Skincare, you're online. Thank you. So if you want to answer any questions, Boo the Cockapoo has ordered the chocolate. Can't wait to try it. And the fibre, Victoria. Yeah, does it mean we can eat more? Well, I guess technically it does. I mean, yeah, I think we were talking, was it the founder? She was saying that she eats a bar a day. So, because it's very good for her gut health. Sorry, I was distracted. I was looking at questions there about body oils and all sorts. So, I think we need to hear it from Malcolm, don't we? Malcolm, do you want to come and join me here? So Malcolm is actually here in the Outer Hebrides. You're not looking forward to this, are you, Malcolm? You're going to have to get closer to me because I think our friends on Facebook can see. Let me just turn this round. No, you're going to have to get even closer.
Okay, no problem. Okay, yeah.
Can you squeeze in?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, so this is Mr. Seaweed, if you don't mind me calling you that.
Yeah, I don't mind at all, yeah.
We have got to know each other over the last 24 hours or so.
Yeah, we have,
We've been, if you saw my stories on Instagram, I didn't realise it was going to be the whole factory. It's your offices, it's everything.
Yeah, we do everything in the factory and storing away from making our extracts and formulating everything to doing the finished products and then sending them out from
It's
the factory
really
in Stornoway,
amazing.
so,
And I did do a little bit of filming, so if you want to have a look at my stories, again on Instagram. So yesterday we saw the seaweed that comes literally from kind of out the window over there on the beach.
Yeah.
And you go and cut it?
Yeah, we went this morning and we
Yeah.
cut some of the seaweed. So we cut like 4 different types of seaweed to use in ishga products. So they've all got kind of different properties. So we choose the seaweeds based on the properties that they have, and obviously we go for the ones that are more abundant because obviously we need a sustainable source of seaweeds.
Yeah.
So as you've seen this morning when you were down there, there's just like, you know, the coastline is absolutely full of it.
Oh,
so,
it's
you know,
amazing, and the
we've
water
never
is
run
so
out. Yeah,
pure.
yeah.
You're going to have to get even
Okay,
closer, I
sorry.
think.
Yeah,
'cause
people-
I want people to see you.
Yeah.
I think what really impressed me is the freshness of everything, and we'll talk. You know, Malcolm, you're a marine biologist, is that right?
Yeah, I did a degree in
background.
marine biology, and then I did a master's in chemistry, and then after that I went and I worked in pharmaceuticals
Right.
for about 11 years, and that's kind of where I learned to do kind of formulation work, and then after that we started like Habitual seaweed, and that was myself and Martin, who you met yesterday, and you had the tour of the factory.
Yes, yeah, it's Seaweed
So,
Factory.
Yeah.
And seaweed has so many amazing properties. You know, if you use any of the sort of fertilizers on the garden, Miracle Grow, all that stuff, it's
Yeah.
based on seaweed, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, from animal feed supplements to foliar sprays for crops,
Right.
to we do human food
Yeah.
seaweeds as well, and then obviously we've got the ishga,
Yeah.
the cosmetics line. So, you know, we put it to a lot of uses.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
it's
In
good,
fact,
yeah.
I'm going out this afternoon on a boat with Martin
Yeah.
to do kind of like combine harvesting of seaweed
Yeah,
at sea.
it's kind of like, you seen this morning, we only harvested like small amounts of seaweed
Yeah.
for ishga in comparison to what Hebridean seaweed harvests tons of seaweed, but
Yeah.
it's still very sustainable. And you'll see when you go out there that the boats, they're just like kind of floating lawnmowers, so they just kind of trim the top off the seaweed, and then because we leave a big surface area of plant left, it kind of grows back a lot quicker. So
So it's completely sustainable.
completely
And
sustainable.
I mean,
yeah,
actually driving
yeah,
around
yeah.
Isle of Lewis, it's really amazing. If you look at it on a map, you can see so many little inlets and channels and
Yeah.
bays and lochs, and it's all packed with seaweed.
Yeah.
It's all, I mean, it's completely
Yeah, there's
full.
hundreds of miles of coastline, so it's like, people ask about the sustainability, but
Yeah.
we will never, we could.
You're never going to run out of
no.
seaweed. And there are lots of different varieties, aren't there? I think on the beach this morning we saw dozens of different varieties.
Yeah, there's hundreds of different types of seaweed. So we kind of tend to concentrate on the brown seaweeds because of the properties they have, especially for cosmetics. So and like I say, they're abundant on the island here. So it's we need to have a never-ending source of raw material.
Yeah. And the water is
we do.
so clear. You know, it's unpolluted. It's,
yeah.
I mean, and they say actually that it's the only truly sustainable crop in the entire world, because you don't grow it, you don't need to fertilize it, or doesn't need
any
water,
care.
it doesn't need any fresh water. It just does
grows.
its thing,
Yeah,
doesn't
grows,
it?
yeah.
And then you pick it, and then it grows some more.
Yeah,
So,
in the summer it just grows like the grass. So we can. The area we were harvesting in this morning, we've actually never moved out of that wee area in 10 years in the 9 years since we started ishga.
really, you'll see it if you go on my
yeah,
stories. It's a really
yeah.
pretty little bay, covered in seaweed, and that's literally where you go in the morning and you pick the seaweed. You just chop it with secateurs, chuck it in a bucket.
Yeah, and take it back to the factory, and then we do our extraction process, which you seen yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just literally, they soak it in warm water, and it's not just any water. It's really special water. Tell us about your spring water.
All right. So we were there this morning at the. It's one of the what's called the Hebridean Healing Springs. So when we started this, I heard of a book that had been written about the Hebridean Healing Springs by Dr. Finney MacLeod from the island here, and basically what the stories in the book told you that back in the day these springs were used for different healing purposes. So, for example, if you had toothache, you'd go to the spring in a certain village, or if you had a bad stomach, you'd go to another village to the spring there.
Really?
And in the book I found a spring that's very close to my house here.
Yeah.
I didn't really know about at the time. I grew up in the village here and that, so I thought I knew everything there was to know about everything that was around here. But this particular spring, which we were at this morning, the story is that the local doctor used to send his patients there in the 1800s to drink this water to kind of aid their recuperation. So
I actually had a drink from it this morning. I'll pop it on my Instagram so you can see what it looks like. And it's just literally by the side of the road. You wouldn't even know it was there, would you? Unless you knew.
You wouldn't. No.
And there's this little well that's obviously been made. It's lined in stone.
Yeah.
And the water just is, I don't know, is it bubbling up from underground?
It's coming through the rock from underneath. So that's why it's been filtered through the rock, and it's very, very clear.
Yeah, I mean, I just scooped my hands and I drank some.
And it's got a bottom of blue clay in the bottom of it, so it kind of, we've had it analysed and it's got a very high mineral content.
But it's completely safe.
It's completely safe from that, yeah. So like I say, we use that water for all the products, so we think that's kind of another reason why the products are very they're obviously natural. Yeah. And organic. Well, you've seen all that,
so natural. I mean, obviously I had a big detour working in skincare during part of my career, and I have never actually seen anything quite so fresh, because you are literally going onto the beach.
Yeah.
You're cutting this amazing different varieties of seaweed. You're bringing it back to the lab. It's cleaned and it's just slightly, not even boiled. It's just simmered, isn't it, in this healing water from again, which just you bring it in
it's
from
kind of like
from the spring.
It's a kind of extraction process we've developed ourselves, and that so it's a wee bit more steps to it than that.
A little bit more technical.
But so we try and extract the beneficial compounds from the seaweed that are good for that we know are good for your skin. And
so let's talk about that, because actually I think this is the first product that I ever tried. Yeah. And it's called the Antioxidant Marine Cream, and I actually made some yesterday. With the help of your lovely colleague. Yeah. But it's literally made. You see it. You see all the ingredients going in. You see all the essential oils, the shea butter, the seaweed extract that you've made literally from the beach. I mean, it is a really extraordinary thing. Do take a look at my stories, because you're
there's
fascinated.
one thing, we take the extracts and make the extracts one day and we can formulate the next day. So it's very, very
super fresh. And it's not going far, is it? You're walking down to the beach. You're getting your healing water from the spring. Yeah. You're bringing it back.
It's all local.
To one big room, and it's all done, isn't it? All together. So your background is as a marine biologist. Yeah. What are the properties then of seaweed? What makes it such a great ingredient for the skin, particularly?
Well, it's got a lot of very beneficial compounds in it for the skin. It's got a compound called alginate, which is very kind of moisturising, and it kind of holds moisture. It holds moisture in the skin,
like a glycerine.
Yeah. It's like a natural gel. And then you've got
feels lovely. Feels really lovely and soft.
The main active in the seaweed is a compound called it's a polyphenol. So they're kind of known to be anti-aging.
And full of dark chocolate is full of polyphenols. So you can rub on your ishga cream and eat the dark chocolate.
Anti-aging, anti-wrinkle, and all very healing as well.
So I know a lot of people, sorry to interrupt you, a lot of people who love the marine cream in particular use it because they have things like eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, irritated skin.
Absolutely.
Are there studies that show that seaweed can help with skin conditions?
Well, historically, again, they've always known that seaweed's been good for your skin and for healing your skin. People have used, seaweed historically for burns and for healing wounds and
really?
Things, healing seaweed dipped in gauzes dipped with seaweed. But from our own products and that we get loads of feedback from people who've got skin conditions like psoriasis, acne, whatever it may be, and it does seem to help a lot of people. So I've
got a young friend actually with acne who's had really good results using.
The thing about seaweed is that a lot of the studies have been done. It's only now that we're starting to kind of really understand why it does what it does. We were involved in a couple of big research projects before we started ishga, where we gained the knowledge that we needed to do what we do now. And we learned a lot about the properties there, and now that we are starting to really understand. There is other compounds in there that we know are beneficial, and we're actually doing a big research project that's now collaborating with the University of Sligo, where we're looking at are seaweed extracts at kind of cellular level in the skin, and it is showing that there's lots of really good promising, and it is showing that it gives good cell regeneration. The extracts we make, so it's kind of, yeah, so it'd be interesting to see where that goes.
And they are different, aren't they? Because when we were on the beach this morning harvesting the seaweed, we were using all that sort of the big, is it bladder rack? And the kind of big sort of fibrous, stringy stuff. Some of it had little bubbles like bubble wrap. And then some of it was flat. And then we walked to a different section, just literally a few yards away, and there was little tiny bits of seaweed. And you were saying that that's the type that you use in the shampoo for a different reason. Yeah,
it's a seaweed called Pelvicia, and it's right at the high tide, and it's meant to be good. It's been kind of in tests and that it's been proven to be good for alopecia, so that's why we decided to put it in the shampoo and the conditioner.
Really?
So so I mean they are organic products and that. So
you're Soil Association certified, aren't you?
They are. Yeah. So it's, they're quite different to like normal shampoos and conditioners and that. But if you continue using them, then people do see the benefit of.
Yeah. Well, I love the smell. I have to say, I'm hooked on your body wash. I've been using that for quite a long time because it's got almost like a sort of marine, ozony, fresh scent to it. Was that something that you came up with?
I kind of come up with all the formulations. Like my wife Joanna, she's a beautician, so kind of I suppose when we design a product. Myself and Joanna and Leon, who you've met before and you've had on
Leon was with us I think last time.
We'll come up with the idea and then kind of decide like what's the texture, the colour, the smell, what it's going to be like, and then I suppose my job is then to go off and formulate that, and then I come back and Joanna will test it, my wife, and she'll say it's too thick, it's too thin, the colour's not right, the scent's not right, whatever it might be, and then we just go back and forth from the lab doing reformulating it until we get it to a point where she says yes, she's happy with it.
I did meet Joanna, and we had a really lovely chat and very hospitable, and I was just fascinated to hear about the background because as somebody who's founded brands myself, I'm always very interested to hear the kind of entrepreneurial journey and how people come to do what they're doing, and the authenticity, I think, is what's really important behind good brands, because they're not just created by faceless grey people in suits thinking, what can we do to improve our profit margins and fill this gap on the shelves. And you, as a marine biologist, having all that knowledge about seaweed and marine life, and having been born and brought up, grown up, literally right here where we're sat now. And then your lovely wife, who was, I think I'm right in saying, she's been a beauty therapist for over 25 years?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And she was working with one of the really big French brands and, using lots of things. And then when she came back here, when you got married, and she started to do her own beauty therapy and wanting creams. Of course, they're all so expensive. She was saying, can you make me something?
Yeah, that's how it
Is that how it started?
That's kind of how it started. So
isn't that amazing? So you made a cream for her. You made marine cream.
I made the marine cream was the first thing I made. It was like it wasn't.
And in fact,
quite
somewhere, where's that photograph? Have we got that photograph? Where is it? Is it on the side? Oh, look. Okay, so I was a bit naughty when I arrived. I went and had a little look around at your photographs, and this is Malcolm in the kitchen. Can you see that? And you're mixing up the first pot of marine cream. Is that right?
Yeah, it was in Joanna's wax.
In her beauty waxing.
Pots. Yeah. So that's what I did.
Just melting it all together.
Yeah, and kind of that was the first formulation that we did. So,
and now it's your bestseller, is that right?
That's our bestseller. It had a bit to go from there.
You've refined it a little bit.
Refined it a wee bit, but not much. It's pretty much the same as what we did on the kitchen table. So it's now a kind of hero product. So
I'm not surprised. I mean, it is really good, and I think it's fascinating that you've got two people, husband and wife team. You've got all the biochemistry side and the specialist seaweed knowledge, the formulations, your background in marine biology, and then in chemistry. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect, could it? You then marry a beauty therapist who needs a cream, and and you've got all that amazing seaweed here, and you've got the healing water from the spring. I mean, it's just fantastic kind of alchemy that
Yeah.
just comes together.
It can be sort of Martin coming together, and then Leon, from the spa angle coming on board. It's like we all kind of collided to.
Yeah, you all came together. Some
make
lovely comments about it, actually. Do you know, I don't find it seaweedy. I find it really fresh. You've got lots of lovely essential oils there.
Well, we did a lot of work in the beginning, because one of the problems we did have was it was very seaweedy.
Was it in the beginning?
Yeah, the thing was we couldn't smell it because we were in amongst seaweed all the time. But Leon and the spa people down in Blythewood Square, they could smell it.
Right.
So that was one of the big hurdles we had to overcome in the beginning, was kind of getting the smell out of the seaweed.
So how do you get the smell out of the seaweed but actually still retain the effectiveness?
It's all to do with the extraction process, and the temperature that you extract at. If you go too high, you will extract in kind of a lot of the kind of compounds that smell quite strongly and are highly coloured. So
you want the ones that are doing the work on the skin.
Yeah, we
but
want
not
we want the polyphenols, the alginates, the fucoxanthins, the minerals. We want the nice things, and to leave the rest kind of behind. So through a lot of experiments and kind of trial and error, we finally came up with the
this is
Eureka moment.
Another famous one, which I love. It's the uplifting body spray.
Yeah.
This smells absolutely fantastic, I have to say, and it is very uplifting. And every time I use it now, I'm going to be reminded.
I know you got to fill your own yesterday as well. So.
I did actually. I videoed it, so I'll pop that on my stories as well, so that you can see. And then the other one, where is this one here? Oh, this I love. So this is, I didn't even know you did this. This is replenishing lip balm.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of a product that I actually made back in the day called Super Balm, which the owners of the beauty company now have discontinued. But it is an extraordinary balm, and you can use it on your lips, you can use it on your fingernails, and that is, again, this all has seaweed in it, is that right?
Yeah, it's got seaweed in it. Like most of our products have, like 99% of our products are seaweed. That's our theme, and that's the active.
It's a really nice little balm.
It's quite tricky getting seaweed into a lip balm, but we managed to do it. So.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. I'm just sitting here using it on my fingers, just like I used to do with mine.
So
Brilliant.
I think there's over 40 products now we've developed. Kind of the team here's developed, and are on the market between retail and professional products. So the range is growing. So
nice.
Yeah.
And you send all over the world. You've got stuff going out to the Far East.
All over the world. Yeah. Internet orders can go anywhere, and we've got distribution in China, quite a big distribution there, and America, Australia, and we're kind of Japan. We just launched in Japan. So it's quite kind of makes my head spin sometimes to see where it's kind of gone from the kitchen.
And lots of top spas. I know that you've just done a special oil. Actually, is it for Coworth Park?
For Coworth Park, for the Queen's Jubilee, for the Platinum Jubilee. So we did a kind of collaboration oil for the Jubilee. So I think that's just been launched. So that was another one where I worked with the team at Coworth Park, kind of back and forth, with ideas and that. So until eventually we came to the final formulation that everybody was happy with, so hopefully that'll be successful for them. Yeah. So it's
and the royal family, actually, I mean, they're known for spending time up in the Highlands, aren't they? I think they used to come up here
to the Hebrides every year in the Royal Yacht. In the Royal Yacht, yeah. I remember seeing the Royal Yacht kind of sailing into some of the sea locks here when I was a boy.
Gosh.
So yeah, they did. Yeah. So she liked it up here.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I'm going to have to say it is absolutely beautiful. The other thing that I really enjoyed seeing is the hand pouring of the candles.
Yeah.
The little soy wax candles. So again, there's no petroleum waxes, and you've got little sustainable cotton wicks, and they're all hand poured, and the smell is amazing. That purpley one, it's got lavender in it, hasn't it?
Yeah. And then you got to sprinkle some of the seaweed into
I did. Some of you, if you buy those candles that we made yesterday, they will be sprinkled by me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if it's got a slightly dodgy pattern of sprinkles on the top,
no, you did a great job. You did a great job. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I think it's so interesting to see things made. I mean, I guess it's kind of the geeky side of me, and having been involved in skincare manufacturing and things in the past. I know technically how difficult it is. And the stability of products and getting them to work and getting people to come back time and time again, because now since this picture was taken, and now what's that, about 10 years?
It's just over 10 years.
So 10, are you going to be celebrating?
Next year we've got our 10th year anniversary, so I think we'll have some plans of celebration. I think we started ishga in about 2011 when that picture was taken, and it took us about 2 years to get the first products onto the market, because it's, as you know yourself, it's quite a difficult process to actually get a product concept when when you've never done it before, to get your jars, your artwork, your boxes and everything.
I love all your
artwork. It's all very important.
You can see on the boxes here. You can see all the different seaweed designs. I think it's just great. I mean, looking at it behind me, I can just see it all. The other thing that I really liked actually is you can see it's in the corner here, is the Shampoo and Body Bar. And is that to kind of cut down on the plastic packaging?
It is. We're kind of we're looking at our environmental impact. So one of the things in hotel rooms and that, you get the shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, and tiny plastic bottles.
Single use.
So that's that's our kind of answer to that.
And are they enjoying that? Are the hotels taking that? Reach down and get it and show you. Here you go. That's the shampoo and the body bar.
It's a bit more of a premium product, but yes, it is and it's very popular amongst kind of even just customers buying it online. And
well, great for travelling too, and of course if you do want to get rid of the.
I take it myself when I'm travelling, because it saves you having to.
The smell is great. Can you see? And then you've got that embossed. And do you make all of that as well?
We make all of that, and they weren't making any yesterday when you were there, but we make that. That's all handmade at the factory as well.
Just extraordinary.
Everything's made on the island here. So.
You literally, the seaweed comes in every day. You're soaking it. You're getting the extract. You leave it overnight. Then the next day you're making the cream or the body oil or the shampoo or the bars or the candles. And then you're putting them in the little cardboard boxes, and then there's a room full of all your products, and there was a lovely lady who was just wrapping them all up in boxes, and
off they go.
The postie comes along and off they go.
I know, it's like, it's like.
Did you ever think that you would be a kind of a skincare mogul?
If you told me 20 years ago that I'd be doing this, I thought about any combination of events that could possibly come together to result in ishga being created, but here we are. So it's been an amazing journey, and I love my job. I love what I do on that, and it's like it's very exciting. I've got to meet a lot of interesting people and do a lot of things that I would never otherwise have been able to do. So it's been a
well, I think, and also what's lovely about the seaweed story is that it's very sustainable, it's very ethical, and everybody now is talking about renewables and eco and green and natural. I mean, your carbon footprint must be tiny, because it's literally, compared to other brands, what you're doing is extraordinary, and actually it's backed by science, so it's evidence based, which is always plus. So that's what we like.
We try to underpin everything with good science, so so that it does kind of authentic, so
well, you're a scientist.
It does work. So people.
But also, if people are buying it and loving it and coming back.
We get a lot of repeat customers.
Well, that's good. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's actually quite easy, I think, to sell something once, but it's that repeat when people say, "I've got to have this again." I really do like it, and I've actually given the marine cream. I remember having some samples that came into the studios, and I gave some out for people to test in the early days when I first got to know about you. And the feedback was just extraordinary.
Good, that's good.
And for men as well. Men, because it's not too girly, it's not too scented. It's just got that nice kind of cleanness. Now tell me about the future, because I know that you're involved in various clinical trials. You mentioned Sligo University and Ireland. And looking at seaweed perhaps for skincare, sun care properties.
When the tide goes out, the seaweed's got to protect itself from the sun and the elements and that. So it's got compounds in the seaweed that are kind of natural, SPFs. So what we're looking at is to possibly extract that from the seaweed and then have a natural a natural source of SPF in our products, in the ishga products and that. So we're working, like I say, we're working with Sligo just now. We've got one of our team, Sophia, who's like a biochemist, and she's actually over in Sligo just now doing all these tests with our extracts on like in live skin cells in the lab. So we're just kind of
that would be so amazing.
We're coming to the point now where we're going to find out if it's actually
working.
It's
you must
working
let us
or not.
know.
So
oh my goodness.
So it's quite exciting.
Hear.
It's quite exciting work on that, and like I say, and there's other things that have come out of the work as well, like like as I said, the cell regeneration which is it's proving it does do. So like I say, we've got that. Even if the SPF doesn't prove, it's not been a waste of time.
Yeah, you'll be able to see what's happening on a cellular level.
Cellular level, yeah. So
very interesting.
So,
and then of course there's our other friends who are up here in the Outer Hebrides, Dr. Seaweed.
Yes, he was here
Craig,
last week.
Was he?
Yeah, he was here last week.
A pal of yours?
He is, yeah.
So are they using the same kind of seaweed? Because they have all the capsules and supplements for internal use. Yeah. Is it the same variety that you use in skincare?
We use the same variety. We use 4 different varieties, but Craig, he also uses for the capsules and that's so it's obviously got its health benefits.
Yeah. So do you take seaweed as well?
I take capsules. I take the capsules. Ishka's actually got its own capsules, so I take 2 every day.
Do you?
Yeah. So.
And your family as well?
Joanna takes them every day. Yeah. So
I mean, iodine, which is the key mineral, isn't it, in seaweed capsules? That's very good for the metabolism.
Yeah. It's
and brain health.
Yeah, and so it's very, very kind of. Craig's done a lot of work on that side.
Yeah,
side
no,
of things,
I've talked to him in the past. He's been a lovely guest here, and I think what's also interesting about the seaweed capsules is that iodine is a mineral that's so important for us, but it's often over farmed out of our soils.
Yeah.
And anything that's been grown using conventional agriculture may well be lower in certain minerals because it's just, they use artificial fertilizers or whatever. And that can knock out some of the iodine that we need.
Yeah.
I was reading a study, I think maybe Craig mentioned it, that the amount of iodine in the soil and the vegetables that we have now compared to 50 years ago is just crazy low.
Yeah.
So replacing it with the diet.
Yeah, a good idea. Yeah.
So what do the Japanese eat? Do they come here and buy all the nori and?
Well, we don't. There is nori here and that, but it's not there's not like large quantities of it.
Because the other one that I know that you cook with, is it dulse? That's another one that you can eat.
Yeah, it is. We do have dulse here, but we don't harvest dulse. Like again, it's not in abundance on the island. So the main one that we harvest for food is it's called Ascophilum. So it's another one of the brown bubbly seaweeds which you saw down on.
And you can eat that.
You can eat that. Yeah, that's what's in Craig's capsules. So.
And they give it to animals, don't they?
Animal supplements.
And horses.
Good for horses.
In fact, I think when we were in the seaweed factory yesterday, there was a big bag of powdered seaweed going down to Cheltenham for the races.
Yeah. Martin was telling you all about that.
For the horses.
So it's got a lot of uses, and it's quite amazing. So.
Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, I'm just going to check here and see lots and lots of people. Are taking seaweed capsules as well. What are the favourite? Yeah, Dr. Seaweed could join us, couldn't he? So the body bar would be good for holidays. Would the smell attract mosquitoes? I think actually it would deter mosquitoes because you've got that lemony smell like citronella that keeps mosquitoes away.
Yeah.
What are the oils that you've got in the body bar?
There's lavender, geranium,
juniper, citrus leaf oil.
Yeah, so
yeah.
So there's four in there.
Yeah.
So like say lavender, geranium, lemongrass, and juniper berry.
Yeah. Well, that lemongrass, I mean, that's going to keep the bugs away, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Can't say for sure, but
having spoken about that, I did come with something which it's a brand called Al Fresco. I don't know whether you've heard about these, but these are anti-bug fragrances.
Right.
And they tested them at the Hospital of Tropical Diseases, because I was warned, actually here on the Isle of Lewis it's not so bad, maybe because it's quite windy, but I know Scotland can get quite midgy. Do you get midgy here?
Oh, terrible. Yeah.
Really?
Well, not May's kind of usually the best month. Even though the weather's not been great since you've been here, but normally May, when you get good weather, you don't get the midgy, so it's one of my favourite months. But when you get into July and August, it can be brutal sometimes.
Okay.
But,
Well, these have come with me just in case of the midges, and I do love them. I was in Greece recently, and there were lots of really nasty, quite hardcore mosquitoes, and it does keep them away. So I think the essential oils are actually very good, rather than having
might have to try some of that.
No, definitely. Well, I'll trade you. I'll trade you. I'll
okay.
leave you some of mine, and I'll take some of yours. I'm just checking that with Alfresco. Yeah, we've got that's alfrescoshop.com for those of you who are asking. And Liz Loves gives you 20% off those as well. So, are there any more seaweed questions? Hey, Dr. Seaweed is on. Hello, Craig. Happy to join anytime to chat. How are things? I've been up in your neck of the woods having a look at your seaweed and all about the benefits of it. So, really good. Yeah, in fact, Ishga Skincare is saying that the body bar is great for travelling with, and it wouldn't attract insects. In fact, I think if anything, it would actually deter them. So really good, because the other good thing, of course, about travelling with a bar is it's not going to spill.
No.
A number of times I've, packed things and they've leaked. The top's come off or something.
You can put it back in the box and then move on to the next place.
Yeah, and it would be completely, and it must last for ages. Whoops.
Oh. It does, yeah. Oh.
Don't turn the body. And it doesn't break if you drop it on the floor.
No, it's still intact.
None of it. I did that deliberately. Obviously, it's a demonstration.
Testing us.
Just to show that it's not going to break. Excellent. I don't think I can add you in, Craig, to the live. I think, I don't know, maybe, well, I don't know. Shall I try and see? Do you think? Let me just see. Well, actually, do you know, I think I can, because you and I are together. So normally I can only have one person, but you would normally be on.
Oh my goodness!
Hello.
What a treat!
Hi, Craig.
What a treat this is!
I'm holding my phone. I'm not set up with all my special lighting that I normally would have.
Oh well, you didn't even have time to put your makeup on.
No, don't worry, that was on.
So you were here in the Outer Hebrides last week. I missed you by a week then.
I know. Sorry about that, but you've got Malcolm all to yourself.
Yeah, it's been great. We've been on the beach. We've seen where your amazing seaweed comes from. It's
honestly, it's a place you can but fall in love with.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's so good. And just recap, I mean, we've obviously talked a lot about the benefits of seaweed on the skin. But internally, I know we've spoken about this before, but for people who are new, who are tuning in for the first time, why should we take a seaweed supplement?
So essentially, like you said, the iodine's the key thing. So everything's in there, all the nutrients. It's a proper, natural whole food, and the iodine's the key one that we're lacking in the diet. And obviously, Ishga have got their capsules, we've got ours, and in ours we add a few other bits as well for other nutrients that for menopause, for focus, for immunity as well.
Yeah.
But that iodine's essential for thyroid function. It's linked to skin health, which obviously links to all the Ishga products, but also for brain development, cognitive function, nervous system, energy. So there's loads of different benefits, and because most people are lacking in iodine, seaweed's the only natural plant-based source. So it's an essential way to get that into the diet, because otherwise it's fish, particularly whitefish and dairy, which we just don't get enough of. So it's a really easy way to get this essential nutrient that most people haven't heard of into the diet. And along with all Ishga's amazing products they have.
I love that. I love that two-way thing, because, health and beauty and wellness, it is that two-way approach, isn't it? You can't just rely on slapping something on your face and then not worrying about what you put inside. And you can't just really focus on what's going on the inside and just ignore your skin either. So, it's... So you guys work together a lot then, do you?
We do.
Yeah, we're the brains of the operation.
The brains.
Neither of us have looked. But no, it's great, and like you say, it's an amazing place, and the seaweeds, the water quality, everything leads to it.
It's so pure.
I think you've done a fantastic job.
that is what really has impressed me, is the freshness. You know, I was expecting maybe the seaweed to be dried that you were using in the face cream, and that you would be reconstituting it, or maybe you harvest it in September and then you've got barrels of it that you know come out 6 months later. But no, I mean literally, I was on the beach with secateurs.
I know
and
it's hard to convey that unless you actually come
you have to see it, and that's what's so lovely about finally being able to come up here and experience it. Because I mean, you know, I'm just going to be one of your greatest advocates, I think, because having seen it, you know, and being able to convey that, it's a very rare thing, rare and special. You are lovely people, all of you. And next time, hopefully, Craig, you'll be up here as well.
Absolutely. If I'm invited again, because now I've hijacked their... I don't know if I'll be welcome.
It's all right.
They can return the compliment next time. You never know.
Absolutely. Anytime.
We'll let you off this time.
I'll leave you both to keep chatting.
Lovely to see you. And if people have got questions about iodine in the diet and all of that, they can always message you, can't they, at Dr. Seaweed?
Yeah, just at Dr. Seaweed. It's Dr. Info. But yeah, anytime, definitely.
Great. Nice to see you. Thanks, Craig. Bye-bye.
Bye, Craig. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. I love it when impromptu things happen like that. And it is that kind of that network, isn't it, of having people with real credibility. And I know that Craig, you know, being a biochemist as well, and having that background with marine biology, just becoming like you, so fascinated with
known Craig for quite a number of years and that, so kind of we work quite closely together.
Work alongside
each other.
That's great. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Collaboration and support of everything. Well, thank you. I mean, it's really, just to remind everybody, we have been talking about ishga, and am I right in saying that it's the Gaelic for water?
Yeah, it's derived from the Gaelic word for water. The Gaelic word for water is spelled slightly differently, but I think I explained to you that it's harder to pronounce, so we kind of...
Some of the Gaelic spellings are quite...
It's phonetically spelled ishga, so, but it does mean Gaelic for water.
Love it.
We use spring water, and the seaweed grows in the water, so the theme was water, so you know, we thought it was an appropriate name for the brand. And
definitely.
I couldn't imagine there being anything different now.
Yeah, ishga.
So,
it was lovely actually walking into the building, because the smell is just is lovely. It's not seaweedy, it's just that lovely, really fresh. The lemongrass and all the essential oils that you're using, the lavender is so good, so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Well, it's just been great. Thank you very much for your hospitality. So ishga, you are ishga.com if you want to go and take a look. And that's 15% off everything there using the Liz Loves. And you may even get one of the creams or body lotions or candles that I made yesterday, if it passed quality control.
Hopefully it will. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Are you relieved now to have done it? You were so nervous about it.
It's not something I do kind of... I've actually never done a live thing before, so it was quite kind of daunting. But
no. Well, we're all friends here, aren't we?
So,
we're all friends. It's all good news. It's all talking about.
And I'd like to thank you as well for coming up to see us. It's been a pleasure having you. And
thank you. I've learned so much.
Hope you enjoyed your lizards. It's a shame about the weather's not been.
Hey, but the rain is good for the skin.
It is.
You know, there's always a silver lining.
Yeah. So.
No, I've loved the Scottish hospitality. Has been amazing. So thank you. Definitely want to come back.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Bye.
So lots of support there. Lots of lovely messages from Malcolm. It's always tricky, isn't it? It's always tricky. I said, no, don't worry. There'll be hardly anybody watching. It'll be fine. I won't talk about the thousands who are online, and of course everybody else on catch up. But no, it's all good. And if you have questions or queries for ishga, obviously do please head over to their Instagram, their Facebook. They've got fantastic customer service, and I've met, I think, virtually everybody in the organisation, and they are just lovely, lovely people. So knowledgeable, so generous, really, really good. So I'm going to be heading back home fairly soon, sadly, packing up my bags. Just a few things. I'm going back on Wednesday. I'm actually doing an event with Lily. She's been over in Dubai with her cell return, and just a little bit of an update. So I had my neck array, obviously. I was wearing that this morning, my little neck array. I didn't bring the mask with me because we're travelling on little planes up here, and I thought that I wouldn't really have room. But I did bring my neck array, and I spoke to her about the rich gold, the hyaluronic acid and the gold serum, which if you have got the mask, makes this work 3 times more powerfully within the skin. It's absolutely phenomenal stuff. It sold out immediately the first time we mentioned it. So she has got a waiting list. So if you're interested, pop your name on the waiting list. If you sign up to their newsletter, you will then get notification of when it comes back in. She's hoping to get some more back in. She's having it fast-tracked over from South Korea because it is truly magical, magical stuff. I love it. But I imagine that the next lot will also sell out quite quickly. So if you are interested, make sure that you are on the wait list for that. And the discount code, by the way, for them, that's slightly different. It's LizLoves21 for cell return. And that's off all their masks and the hair helmet, the hair alpha ray that helps rejuvenate your hair. So that's LizLoves21 for cell return, and that's the same for the Ampule for the gold as well. Talking about hair repair and hair regeneration, not only does the cell return hair alpha ray help with the follicles, and it's the penetration of the LED light and the near infrared light that is stimulating down at a mitochondrial level within the hair follicles that is helping to reactivate the hair follicles, and it's clinically proven. You can go onto her website, you can have a look at all of that. But don't forget, did you clock what Malcolm said about the Seaweed Shampoo? I thought that was fascinating. And again, we've put some pictures on my Liz Earle Me Instagram this morning of when we went out and we looked at the seaweed. And there's certain types of seaweed that have been linked to rejuvenating hair. So if you would like to combine that, perhaps with your hair alpha ray, or just try it on its own, you know, try it. Obviously it's not going to work overnight, but I think little and often with something like that, you're likely to see the best results. Thank you very much, Pen. You've said my skin looks lovely. Well, I've been covering it in ishga, seaweed. I was in the shower this morning using just about everything, the scrubs and the shampoo and the body oil and everything. I love the eye cream particularly. This one I think is particularly good. I have also been using Lily's serum and yeah, I mean, what else do I do for my skin? The Ingenious Beauty collagen, really like those capsules. That's another favourite. I've been reminded to take my Dr. Seaweed capsules, my iodine, and all of those good things. And in fact, we're going to be talking about good things to take on Thursday. I'm going to be back with you live with Ed Van Harleman, say that correctly, from Youth and Earth. So he's one of our favourites, isn't he? We love Youth and Earth, and that's really hacking into some of the body's biochemistry when it comes to ageing. So we're going to be talking about things like telomere length and sirtuins and zombie cells. So that's going to be coming up on Thursday. So a word of warning, you might want to have that extra cup of coffee to stay sharp. Have your pencil and paper ready, because there's always a very deep dive into some quite complex but fascinating biohacks and biochemistry at the real cutting edge of longevity and DNA aging. So we're going to be talking about that on Thursday, which I am very much looking forward to. Just before I go, gut health. This is the Optivac that I've been taking, Optivac Max, the Everyday Max. And there is a very, very good 20% discount, but it runs out on the 26th of May. Okay, just as a word of warning, if any of you were thinking about that or wanted to replenish, I know that you probably got some a few weeks ago, but if you've tried it and you love it as a daily probiotic, and it's clinically proven, so it's one of the few that is evidence-based, then you've got till the 26th of May to take advantage of the 20% Liz Loves. And actually, just before I go, I've just been fiddling with this around my neck, and I just want to show you this, because this was a present from Malcolm and his wife Joanna at Ishga, which is, I was absolutely blown away by. It's actually made by Joanna's sister, Lisa. Lucy? Ruth, I'm so sorry, thank you. Ruth A. Morrison. Yeah. Okay, so she's on Instagram, Ruth A. Morrison Jewellery. Check her out. So this is recycled gold, and as you know, I've got my own fair trade jewellery line, so I'm very into ethical jewellery. And it's got a little bee on it. Do you see, she's made all of these by hand, all her jewels. So there's a bee and a little echinacea, little pink echinacea. And inside she's used Harris tweed, because we're obviously on the Isle of Harris where the tweed comes from. And she sandwiches little bits of genuine Harris tweed cloth into her jewels, and she's got the most amazing selection. Do go and check her out. I had a look at her Instagram before I started this live, and she's got beautiful, beautiful things, all handmade by her and using recycled gold, silver, and the Harris tweed is just stunning. So thank you very much. That is going to stay around my neck and be a wonderful reminder of my time up here in Harris. So lovely to be able to mention her. I think she's got really beautiful things. Ruth Morrison, that's it. Ruth Morrison Jewellery. Ruth A. Morrison Jewellery. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Ruth A. Morrison Jewellery. She's probably on Facebook as well, but I know she's definitely on Instagram because I checked her out. That is it for today. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a really lovely time up here in the Outer Hebrides. I will put more pictures on my Instagram today if you want to take a look, and I'm going to go back to the beach. I'm going to be doing some more harvesting with Malcolm's business partner Martin, who has these amazing marine combine harvesters for cutting huge amounts of seaweed, which is used to make natural fertilizers and animal feeds and all sorts of that. Oh, you're online, Ruth. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to send you a big heart. I absolutely love it, really love it. And I hope that lots of people go and take a look at your beautiful Instagram site and your beautiful jewellery, because it's absolutely lovely, very special. So thank you. And I'll be back with you live on Thursday, again with Youth and Earth, so pen and paper at the ready for that. Tomorrow we've got a new film going up on YouTube. I've actually recorded a little makeup tutorial, so if you want to check that out, make sure you head over to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. If you sign up to subscribe on that, then you get the little notifications when we pop a new video up. We usually try and do one every week. And then there's also going to be the new podcast episode of the Earle Wellbeing Show, which will go up on Friday. So lots going on. And in the meantime, have a great rest of the week, wherever you are. Thank you, Ishga. Thank you for all your lovely comments. It's been a real pleasure to be up here. I've learned so much. And I hope that we can all spread the word on sustainable skincare and seaweed, the benefits of seaweed for inside and out. So that is it for today. I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.